Well, we turn now to a high-profile political race in California. Congresswoman Barbara Lee is facing the fight of her career as she's trying to replace retiring Senator Dianne Feinstein in the Senate. The progressive Democrat is running against two popular challengers, Representatives Adam Schiff and Katie Porter. I met Lee at the Southern California High School, where she first found her voice as a fighter against injustice.
We are the Tigers, mighty, mighty Tigers.
I love it.
Here we go.
You still remember the cheer?
I still remember it.
At San Fernando High, Barbara Lee recalls tackling racism to become the school's first black cheerleader.
There was a selection process, and they had never selected a girl that looked like me. And so I went to the NAACP and said, look, I really want to be a cheerleader, but I can't because I can't make it through this process because I'm black.
Lee says that conversation led to a change in the selection process. It was a victory that inspired a lifelong call to activism.
Mission accomplished. Now I know that black girls and girls of color are going to be cheerleaders. And I mean, I was thinking like that at 15 and 16 years old.
And you've been breaking through that glass ceiling ever since, and fighting for equality.
I look at politics and public service as being able to not tinker around the edges, but dismantling systems that are barriers for full and equal opportunity for everyone.
Madam Secretary, you just don't care much about civil rights of black and brown children. This is horrible.
Her fight against racial bias in schools continues. In an op-ed, she blasted the Supreme Court's decision to overturn affirmative action, writing, "The remnants of Jim Crow laws and the chains of slavery were meant to be broken, not meant to take new forms." And when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade,
what in the world is this? Is this America?
Lee shared her outrage.
You're trying to criminalize people for making their own reproductive health care decisions. You're trying to set up an environment for people to spy on each other.
In a pivotal moment, Lee revealed she had had an illegal abortion in high school.
It was a dark back alley. It was about 10:30 at night. The doctor had a white coat on. There was light above the bed. And I mean, I remember it very vividly, like it was yesterday.
Did you hide it from people here?
Everybody. To live with that trauma and that stigma, the fear around it, the shame around it, and it was like I felt horrible.
And did you ever think we'd be back where women are going to have to fight once again?
Never.
Right.
So it's not about do you believe or not believe in abortions. It's about what you want to do based on what your decision is about your own body.
We continued our conversation at Mills College in Oakland, her alma mater. It was here she met Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman elected to Congress. She ignited Lee's passion for politics.
Right now we have the MAGA extremist Republicans who are fighting to take away our democratic rights. And we need more fighters who are going to say no, who are going to stop this from taking place.
It was a no vote that created a career-defining moment for Lee. In the aftermath of the devastating 9/11 attacks, Lee followed her conscience, becoming the only member of Congress to vote against giving then-President George W. Bush unlimited war powers.
As we act, let us not become the evil that we deplore.
Her vote led to death threats, but today it's a view many lawmakers have come to endorse. At 77, Lee is in perhaps the toughest fight of her political career, a race for the 2024 seat long held by outgoing Senator Dianne Feinstein.
So when someone tries to tell me that a black woman of my age with all the experience I bring to the table can't win a fight, I just smile to myself and I say, watch me.
She's competing with Representatives Katie Porter, known for her tough questioning in oversight committee meetings, and Adam Schiff, backed by former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
One advantage that both Representatives Porter and Schiff have over you is campaign money. You have fallen behind. How do you plan to compete with that?
Well, it's not I have fallen behind. I have been raising money over the years for our Democratic Party, for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, for women of color. And in fact, the barriers to raising money are there. But that's not going to stop me. We can make sure that rents are affordable and remain affordable. We've got to do that.
If elected, she'd be the only black woman in the Senate.
Representation matters. We want everybody to have an opportunity to live the American dream.
A dream that would mean another achievement for a woman who still remembers her early days in segregated El Paso, and after moving to California, recalls her mom warning her dad about cross burnings in San Leandro, a city Lee now represents.
I'm excited to be here.
When she's not campaigning or in Congress, Lee winds down with a simple pleasure, growing orchids.
You know, and orchids are some of the most delicate flowers. They're beautiful, but they're some of the strongest.
If they're a metaphor with your love of orchids, I mean, they are delicate but strong, and they come back.
That's right. That's who I am.
They don't need a lot of attention.
They just do their job.
Work.
They do the work.
Now, in terms of the fundraising race between the three frontrunners, Adam Schiff has the edge right now over Katie Porter and a big lead on Barbara Lee. But Lee says it's not so much about the money, although it's important, of course, in this case. She believes really it is about the people and the people power, getting people to the polls who will vote for the person they believe in most. And that is what is at stake.
Well, she certainly can do the job. I mean, the orchid analogy, the fact,
Yeah.
I love that she's a cheerleader. I've met her many times, and I know what a badass she is. But I had no idea, when you put it in perspective, she would be the only black woman in the Senate. There's only been two,
Yes.
Kamala Harris and Carol Moseley Braun
That's
from back
right.
in the day.
That's right. And Governor Newsom has said if Senator Feinstein were to retire early at 90 years old, which she is not,
Yes.
it would make sense to have a black woman be the next person in line.
I love Barbara Lee saying, "Watch me."
That's
Yeah.
right.
Watch me. Yeah, she
Strong
always,
We'll
as
be
an orchid,
watching.
right?
she always delivers.
Great race to watch.
Yeah.